Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg, CFO of Facebook, is a #1 bestseller. I've read it, and if you're a woman who has the will to lead, I highly recommend it. But I've often wondered, what if you're a woman who's extremely gifted and immensely talented, but you don't want to lean into career? What does that look like? Our first presenter is extremely gifted and immensely talented. She's been a reporter and a news anchor for ABC, NBC, and CBS News affiliates. She's a perfect example of a woman living fully in her giftedness as a stay-at-home mom. She's a freelance writer, a filmmaker. Her Baby Got Kale YouTube music video about healthy eating was an official selection of the 9th annual Good Film Festival in New York City. She participates in the Bakersfield Chinese Women's Club and volunteers in her kids' classroom. She writes articles for the Bakersfield magazine. Nina Ha.
Good evening, I'm Nina Ha. Thanks for tuning in. Here's what's topping our news today. An 89-year-old woman in Yakima, Washington, who worked for a flour milling company in World War II, led a quiet life. Dorothy Egg never married, but instead chose to look after her elderly mom and disabled sister. She took great care of her neighbors and prayed every night before going to bed. A 71-year-old man, known to many around Bakersfield simply as Hallelujah Mike, drives people to and from a car dealership for his job. With each passenger, Mike Wells shares his joy in the Lord, occasionally sings in the car, and often prays with his passengers. A business owner in San Gabriel, California, sells statues, plants, and fountains for a living, but makes friends with almost everyone who walks into her store. Mary Liu spends time listening to their stories, offering advice, and even sharing a good cry. What do all these people have in common? They're all seemingly ordinary people who love extraordinarily. As a TV news reporter and anchor for years, I had the honor of telling some amazing stories. And tonight, I'd like to share mine with you. Ever since I was a young girl, I felt drawn to God. I guess a young tomboy. I was 5 years old when my family moved from Taiwan to America, and one day, my school was having a craft sale. So I decided to grab some money from my parents, and I went to check it out. They had the most amazing stickers, adorable erasers, and even a pen shaped like an ice cream cone. Who doesn't love that? But for some reason, I gravitated toward a simple silver necklace. On it was a man nailed to a cross, and it just seemed so beautiful to me. I had no idea what it represented, but it was the only thing I took home that day. Not too long afterwards, my family went to a social function at a Chinese church, and I found myself listening to the pastor. He was talking about how God was holy, man was sinful, and we needed Jesus as a bridge. And all I had to do was admit that I sinned, which I did all the time because I was extremely rambunctious, know that Jesus died for my sins, and then be one with God. It made so much sense to me. So when the pastor said, "Is there anyone in the audience who would like to ask Jesus into their hearts?" my tiny little hand shot up so fast, and I was like, me. So that began my journey. In my 20s, I got the job of my dreams as a TV news reporter and anchor for a station in Yakima, Washington, and later, Eugene, Oregon. I wanted to be the next Ann Curry. I had just gotten a job offer from a top 50 TV station when my boyfriend said, "Any chance you'd like to quit and come travel with me?" So what do? Do I lean in back into the workforce, into this highly sought after position? Or do I lean sideways into love? I decided to lean into love. So we got married, moved to Bakersfield, and had 2 beautiful babies. Life got busy, and I wanted to grow closer in my walk with Jesus, so I joined a Mommy and Me Bible study. It was there when I felt a calling to become baptized. So I asked my Bible study leader about it, and she said, you know, our church doesn't do that every weekend. In fact, the next one's not even going to be until November 21st. So I looked at her and I said, well, I guess it's meant to be because that's my birthday. God was after me for so long, even before I knew who he was, on this necklace that I bought in the 1st grade for $1. And I am so grateful he's pursued me because I need him every day. I can be really full of myself. I know what you're thinking. No, not Nina, she's so cool, she's so humble. It happens. I'm incredibly impatient. Whatever it was I asked for, I wanted it yesterday. I can be embarrassingly selfish with my time, and I love alarms. And I also expect way too much from other people, and it's just not fair. But when I cry out in the middle of the night and I feel like everything's gone wrong and I don't know what to do, God always hears me. And in the morning when I wake up and I am not a morning person and I'm grouchy, he reminds me of all the blessings that I have in my life. And I get so much joy from that. And I take that joy and I live this adventure called life to the fullest. As a stay-at-home mom, leaning sideways, I've done some pretty crazy things. I have gone skydiving with my siblings, danced on stage with Vanilla Ice. I dress up like Supergirl once a year and go to Comic-Con with my family. I've tried out for the Bakersfield Bombers semi-pro tackle football team, where I proceeded to break my finger. Still dealing with that. I've even produced a rap video about vegetables that went viral. God is with me always. All he asks is that I love the people around me. And I've noticed that when I turn my focus from myself and I'm actually doing something to help someone else, that's when my life really means something. So, once a week, I get to read to 16 of the most adorable boys and girls in Mrs. Brining's kindergarten class. I do silly voices for them, I bring them stickers, and I cherish each and every hug. And now that our own kids are older, we visit retirement homes, and we listen to the stories from the men and women who have so much to teach us. Because I believe that God is in a smile, a phone call, a conversation, a compliment, a hug, or a hot meal. Like Dorothy Egg, Mike Wells, and Mary Liu, I want to be someone who loves extraordinarily because I am loved extraordinarily by God. Just think of the people in your life who love you extraordinarily. Chances are they're not athletes, musicians, or celebrities. They're your mom, your dad, your grandparents, your teacher. If you can, take some time to let them know how their life has affected you, how their love has made a difference in your life. My parents are 2 of the most hardworking, honest, and loving people I know. Dad, Mom, thank you for all the sacrifices you've made for our family. Thank you for loving us. I love you so much. Before I go, I have one last news story for you. A young woman in Taiwan who had been sold into a family as part of an arranged marriage stood with her firstborn daughter on her back. Standing by the ocean, she was hopeless, desperate to end her life. Her daughter pleaded with her saying she would grow up to take care of the family, that her mom would never have to worry, and that she loved her. That little girl, Mary Liu, is my mom. And because of her bravery and love for my grandmother, I am here today. My grandma spent the rest of her life serving others, putting their needs ahead of her own, and teaching the rest of us to do the same. In Les Miserables, Victor Hugo said, "To love another person is to see the face of God." Love can save lives. Love can fix our broken world. Love never fails. That's it for us tonight. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Nina Ha. Good night, and God bless.
Thank you, Nina. I'm intrigued by your talent and the intentional way you use your giftedness. I love the stories you tell about the people who influenced you. There's a section in the Houghton Mifflin state-adopted second grade reading book about heroes. There's a story in that section about a man who has a passion for the disabled. The nonfiction article features